Alrighty, I purchased a new microphone, which isn't that, I don't know, it was a cheapie, because my camera mic, I wasn't really happy with it, the built-in one. So that's for the purpose of this one. I'm just going to test it out. Still adjusting the light settings, but yeah. So today I wanted to show my walk to campus. It's about a 20-minute long walk from the station, which is where this is right now. This car is going to come out and kill me. To the left, I'm not going to look at it. I'm just going to keep walking. Okay. So one thing that you guys are going to notice is two things. One, roads are very thin, narrow. And two, a lot of construction. Overall, making this route moderately dangerous, but you know. Here, let me adjust some more settings because we're getting out to the strong sunlight. Okay, that looks about right. I'll keep it there. Okay, so now just gonna do the walk and see how it goes. So I'm really hoping that this mic is slightly better, at least, than the onboard one. So the thing about my onboard camera is the built-in mic is right next to the fan, so it has a lot of interference. Yeah. Anyways, I finally went to Nada yesterday, which is the place where all the deer are. So, city of deer. There is a lot of them. They're all extremely friendly, which surprised me. Yeah, I thought they'd be, pretty mean, but no. Another thing about them is they bowed. You know, these are definitely some Japanese deer. Whenever you give them a biscuit or something, they'll bow their head, or they'll bow their head prior to the biscuit. You know, I thought that was pretty interesting. Now, it could just be me, like, hallucinating, I don't know. But it looked like they bowed. They also let you pet the deer. You know, you can just go up to them, pet them. They don't really care, even if you don't have food. A couple of them, they got pretty impatient. They got pretty impatient when you didn't give them food. Like, if I was trying to... There was one moment yesterday where there was one deer. I was trying to prepare my camera and I had food on me, and it wanted the biscuit. You know, so I'm like, "Come on, man, just hold up 1 second." So then it started to bump me, bump its nose into me a couple of times. Still trying to get my stuff ready. So then it bit my stomach. It wasn't a hard bite, it was a gentle bite. It wasn't enough to grab my attention. So, sure enough, I gave it the biscuit. Actually, I gave it like 2 biscuits during the time it took me to prepare my camera. Good experience. So, I know it's kind of nice. I'm really glad it's bright and sunny today, but it's freezing. Oh man, this cold is real. Let's try to cross. Oh god, I almost died. Okay. Alright, so I tripped. Caught my balance, thank god. There was no cars, at least. But, I mean, it would have sucked to have dropped this camera. I literally just bought it about 3 days ago. So, that would be a terrible, terrible thing. My hands holding the camera is actually pretty cold. Anyways, I've been living in Japan for about, since late August, almost 6 months. So it's been almost half a year since I've moved to Japan. So I definitely have a couple of opinions. I'm actually heading toward the main construction area, so you might not hear it. So I'll be quiet if I hear drilling. But the number one thing that I don't like about this place is that people smoke here way too much. It's pretty ridiculous how many smokers there are here. Another thing that I did not like initially, well, mainly because I was mostly misinformed, is I always complained about how thin the walls are in Japanese apartments. Because in my apartment, I can hear my next door neighbor, and I can hear their cat. It's mostly, useless things like I hear him snore at times. I hear his cat, like, I don't know, growl. It's not even a meow, it's like some weird, I don't know. So, the place I stayed at in Tokyo also had really thin walls. So I can hear the alarm go off of the next door neighbor when they were waking up in the morning. So because of these two places that I have lived at, both having really thin walls, I have formulated the theory that, okay, if I live in an apartment, the walls are going to be thin, and I'll always be hearing the neighbors. But recently I've been visiting other people's apartments. So I spent the night at my girlfriend's house once, her apartment. Didn't hear a single noise. Walls were nice and thick. Nothing could be heard. It quite surprised me because I'm like, wow. My first realization of this was when actually my girlfriend spent the night at my apartment, and she's like, well, she's Japanese, so she's been living here her whole life. She tells me that it's very odd that you can hear the next door neighbor, because that means they can hear us. And I was like, yeah, that is true. So when I went over to hers and there was no noise, it was pretty good. Then the next incident, I went over to my friend's house in Shinsaibashi. This is a very, very loud and active city life part of Osaka. Went down there, and sure enough, there was no sound coming out of their walls. So, long story short, well, I can't really add that as a complaint anymore. I just assumed they were all thin, but they're not. So it just depends on the place. So my next apartment, wherever it's going to be, if it's in Japan, it's going to have thicker walls. Yep. So yeah, people smoke too much, and there was the walls. That was more or less it. Those are my only main two complaints. Other than that, literally almost everything, I think, beats America. People are gonna get mad at me for saying that, but rent is cheaper, which I guess that comes with thinner walls. Medical. I have medical insurance here. $12 a month, and it covers literally everything. If I go to the hospital for any reason and I present my medical card, the visit there is only $6, and the medicine is about $11. So overall, a trip to the doctors with medicine is about less than $20. I think that's quite good. I remember January of last year, I went to the a doctor in America for a checkup. Now, I was under my parents' insurance, but what they didn't tell me was the insurance expired, like right there at the beginning of the year, and that I had to pay for insurance on my own. They never told me that. So I went to the doctor, got a full checkup, and they accepted my insurance at the time, and it was about maybe $60 for the checkup, around there. So, I didn't think much of it at the time. $60. Well, thinking about it now, like, dang, that's expensive compared to Japan with insurance. But like I said, I had never lived in Japan for a long period of time before. My previous experience was 2 months. I lived in Tokyo 2 months, about a year and a half ago, and then I went back to America for a year, and now I'm back here. But anyways, so about a month later, I got a call saying that my insurance wasn't valid at the time when they accepted it, and I had to go back to the medical place and pay the remaining amount. And I'm like, what? I mean, y'all accepted it, you should have done something. You should honor your whatever. That didn't work out, so I had to drop down an additional like $200 and something. I can't remember the exact amount, but I remember being in the 200 range, all for just a checkup. They didn't even do anything advanced. They just checked my blood pressure, checked my weight, looked in my ears, like a traditional standard normal checkup. Nothing serious. Overall, it costed me, I'm gonna cross this even though it's gonna go red. Overall, the trip costed me roughly around $300 between the two payments, just for a checkup. I was sitting there thinking, wow, that's such bull. Yeah, moral of the story, America's medical system, terrible. Japan definitely wins in this category, which is a massive one. Next up is the food. Now, a lot of people who live in America or a foreign country, when they think about Japan, it's actually a very common thing I get asked is, are you always eating Chinese food? I get that asked a lot. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm not in China, I'm in Japan. Chinese food here is just about as common as it is in America. You have to go find a Chinese restaurant, which, now that I think about it, there aren't any nearby here in this area that I can walk to easily, to my knowledge. So, straighten up. Okay. But yeah, in terms of the diet, the food here, these cars pass. Alright, so in terms of the diet, the food here isn't all just Japanese. Like, they have a lot of the same foods that are in America. Some of it's slightly altered, to fit more of the Japanese taste, but it's usually not that big of a difference. So, I still eat a variety of food. I still eat Italian food. I still eat Spanish food. Of course, I eat Japanese food, and I cook for myself as well. But yeah, America definitely wins the food category, I think, overall, just because they have, well, maybe they win overall, but that's probably not the most. So America definitely has a better variety, and I think the food tastes better, but then again, I'm American. So, born and raised there, my tastes are accustomed to that. Now, that being said, the food in Japan is much healthier. Literally almost everything is healthier. I didn't make any significant changes to my diet, and I've lost about maybe 30 pounds just by eating a lot of the food here and doing this walk that I'm doing now to school every day. And as I mentioned, I also have to walk back at the end of the day. So between doing this walk twice a day and keeping my diet almost the same, the weight is slowly but surely just falling off, which is really good. So I don't know. I prefer the American food taste. I prefer the Japanese food's results. Effortless weight loss, man. So, and I had the same experience happen when I was in Tokyo for 2 months, about a year and a half ago. I was just there, and then the weight was just falling off effortlessly, and I was like, so this is that was the first time that I realized how bad I don't know if it was my diet in America is, or just American food in general, in terms of like how fattening it is. So that was my first realization. So when I came back the second time, I knew I'd be losing weight here because of my first experience. All right, passing the college parking lot, so I'm kind of nearing the place. To the left, this big building here, I almost walked right into that pole. This big building here is just a restaurant. So, really good. Not exactly the cheapest. Oh. And then that's half of it. The other half, which is coming up right here, this half is the writing center, which is where, to my knowledge, Japanese students, they come here to get their English papers corrected by native speakers. And then you can get a job in the writing center as well, correcting these papers, and you make you make about minimum wage of Japan, which is around 800-900 yen an hour. I don't know the exact minimum wage, but I'm assuming 800-900, around that range, is close to minimum wage. But you can only work, I don't know how many hours a week. I think it's like 10-15 hours a week. So it's definitely a part-time job. You can't go full-time, and you're not going to make too much, but I mean 10 to 15 hours a week just to, that'll cover a little bit of the expenses, I guess. Alright, once we cross this street, the next building is going to be the campus. I wonder if they'll let me record on the campus. There's usually like a cop or two, sometimes like 3. They don't ever do anything, but they usually just hang out in the front gate, watch for anything suspicious. And I do have a weird looking camera in my hand. So, not to mention I'm a big dude, very big, and a gray hoodie. Oh, I look kind of like a thug, criminal, whatever you want to call it. So, there's 2 cops right there. Just gonna walk through and hope I don't get stopped. All right. Oh yeah, today's the entrance exam. I forgot about that. Or was that yesterday? Entrance exams into the college. It's either it was yesterday or it's today, or maybe it's a 2-parter. But they're all going to the library area, which is this building on the left here. So, actually no, they're not going there. They're going a little bit more further down. But usually when it comes to like testing and whatnot, that's generally the place where they go. So I'm assuming they're still doing that. Now, I'm not going to be doing a tour of this campus, at least in this video. Mainly because I have homework. My class starts in about 30 minutes, and I haven't even looked at the material because I'm just that kind of guy. So, I kind of have to go into the CIE lounge, which the CIE is crud. Something International Exchange. Oh, International Exchange Center. There we go. Center for International Exchange, CIE. Forgot what that's called. I've been calling it by the Japanese name. It's like Kokusai Koryu Center. So, I guess I've been polluted by all that Japanese exposure. It's making me forget like what the abbreviations of the English ones are. I've been memorizing the Japanese equivalents. So, the center here, it's basically where almost all the classes for foreigners are. So these past 2 semesters, this is the building right here. The past 2 semesters, I've had all of my classes in this building. Some of my friends, not so much. They've had classes in other buildings. But, alrighty. So I'm gonna stop recording in here.